Hey guys, we're going to learn how to make our sculpture part of our shaded assignment. You're going to need white paper, scissors, and clear tape. First, we're going to create the strips by folding about a 1-inch thick fold. I did this one a little bit too thick, and in a minute I'm going to realize it and fix it. So I fold, and then it's just like making a fan. I can use my nails to perforate the folds, but you guys might need to use scissors. So here I'm fixing my mistake and making it closer to being 1 inch thick instead of 2 inches. I'm using my nails to perforate. You can also use a metal ruler and line it up and rip the paper, hold the ruler taut and rip the paper off of the edge. It might get kind of curly that way, but it's just an option. And now you just keep on going all the way down the paper. So a couple of them I cut to show you you can cut them if you need, but I like to just rip them. And now I have all my strips. Go ahead and pause and get yours done. All right, so now you can create your letters using your strips. This is going to take some trial and error and some critical thinking on how to do it. You're going to use pinching, folding, bending to create your letters. And you're always asking yourself, how can I do blank? Critical thinking consists mainly of asking yourself questions, and then your brain is designed, strangely enough, to answer those questions. So I do kind of make a mistake here of taping down my first letter a little bit early. But I realized pretty quickly that that's not the way to go about this, so I do end up changing it later on. And that is an example of critical assessment and critical thinking and changing the way you're working or finding a solution as you're working. And once again, you guys get to just see all my beautiful gray hair. Isn't it great? I am only 32, but I'm definitely already going gray. And I would suggest that the W and maybe the M, those are pretty challenging letters. You do want to have an idea of what words you want to write out before you start this step. I am going to require that there are at least 5 letters present. You can do 1 word, you can do 2, but what kind of message are you sending through your words? So yes, I'm letting you know that I anchor taped my first letter, and it was kind of a mistake, but I do change it later. And when I say anchor tape, I basically just mean laying it down. And you're not so worried about making this sculptural product super beautiful, because it's more about the drawing you're going to create of this product. But this gives you an opportunity to really kind of get your hands busy. And I think here, I eventually do choose to trim that W down a little bit. Now I made my A. The N is pretty easy because I just have to fold it 3 times. And with this T, I'm going to take a small piece and I'm going to cut a little slit down the middle and then insert the vertical part of the T through that horizontal part of the T. And then I tape the T together to hold it in place. But that's just an example of one of the things you can do while creating. And now I'm going to create the letters for my second one, and I'm not going to tape them down. By now I've figured it out. And the reason that you don't want to tape them down first is because you want to place your letters. So go ahead and pause and do step 2. So now you're figuring out what placement looks best. How are you going to create a balanced composition of these letters? And I'm pulling up the A. I pull the W up a little bit later, but I definitely do it because I want to be able to place them in an aesthetically pleasing way. And yes, they're going to bounce around and move around, but you get kind of an idea of what is the angle that I want. Do I want these going in angles so that they kind of dance around the paper, or do I want it to be more straight and narrow? What's going to look best? How does it flow? These are all examples of questions you can ask yourself in terms of critical thinking and exercising those thinking skills. What looks best? Try out different things so that you can compare and contrast and assess what will work out for your art piece. Go ahead and pause and do. Now you've pressed playback, and we're going to do this next step of taping down your letters now that you have an idea of where you want them. And remember, if we were making a real sculpture, most likely getting to see the Scotch tape would not be okay. But right now we're making a sculpture so that we can draw it. So it's got a different objective, so we don't have to worry so much about the tape. So I'm even rearranging. So your steps 3 and 4 of figuring out an arrangement and taping them down, there's going to be some overlap. You might tape one down and then realize, oh, I need to move it over more this way, or I need to do this, or I need to do that as you work. So here I'm moving my W using my critical thinking. That's okay. If your critical thinking tells you that you need to make an adjustment, please listen to it. So I needed to move the want so that it was more center and closer to the word more. And eventually it might drive you crazy and you got to just stop. But that's our finished product. Now you get to take a picture of it. Now you're ready to take your photo. You're going to need one strong light source. It's probably easiest if your one strong light source is movable. That way you can leave your piece still and move the light around it to decide which cast shadows make achieve the most interesting movement and contrast and look. Once you find a good cast shadow, you're going to take a photo, just like with your flat lay, directly above your sculpture. Then you're going to want to edit that photo, probably turn it black and white and increase the contrast and brightness, and even crush your blacks by making them stronger. Once you have your photograph, you're ready to go. You're ready to draw.